Hey guys, I hope your week is going awesome. I know my week is going a lot better now that I don't have pink eye. Thank you so much for praying for me. And seriously, if you see someone with pink eye, don't touch them. I just want to shoot a quick video to recap our leaders meeting this past Sunday. Thank you so much for those who were able to make it. And there's just some really important information I want to make sure that we all were on the same page about. The first and most important thing is that Movement Weekend is coming up. In fact, the deadline is in a week and a half. The deadline to register is February 13th. And I'm just being honest with you guys right now, our registration is looking a little light, especially with the guys and especially with the high schoolers. And so we are sending out a multitude of emails this week. I know we in the office are going to be following up with people, but I have a question for you. Would you help me with this? Whether you're helping with the weekend or not, inside Planning Center, there are attached contact sheets. Would you contact the students that are in your group, that's your grade level in your group? Would you contact them via text message, via email, via phone call, via show up at the front door, whatever, and encourage them to sign up for Movement Weekend? I believe that God's going to do amazing, powerful things throughout Movement Weekend, but it's only going to happen to those who are there. And so I would love to see as many of our students get to go as possible. Again, we have scholarships available for those who cannot financially afford it. But would you help me out and follow up with each student in your group this week? That way they know to sign up before February the 13th. Another thing we talked about was on Sunday mornings, just that we're instituting these, both Sundays and Wednesdays, but these folders. And every Sunday you'll either receive a folder in your hand or there'll be a folder in your room. My request in that is that would you just kind of check off the people that are in your group that day, as well as there are note cards in that folder. Would you write to 2 people who are not there? What this is this is going to help us track people who are missing. One of the things I said on Sunday is that I don't care as much about tracking attendance as much as I do tracking people. We want to care about people and be in the business of caring for people. So would you help me by checking off the people that are in your group, as well as writing letters to those who are not with us, and then you can leave those folders in your area. On Wednesday night there's no note cards, but again, would you check off the people? That way we just kind of get a feel for, like, hey, so-and-so hasn't been here in about 3 weeks, maybe I should reach out to them. Another thing we talked about is that on Wednesday nights, obviously the first couple of weeks we had switched over to the main worship center, and I believe it's going great. But one of the things that we realized is that we just need to contain students and make sure that we're hanging out together as well as not wandering off. And so we're going to do our best to have students hang out in the east parking lot. If you don't know, that's the same parking lot that we used to hang out in, just a little bit further down, as well as in the cafe and in the lobby area. We're not going to have any activities unless it's a specified invite night. Hey, we're going to have this giant activity over on the west parking lot or where the green grass is. So if you just kind of help us with that and hang out in one of those areas, just be kind of floating around and be available to interact with students. Look for your students, be intentional to find your students, but be friendly with everyone. It kind of comes across. And then lastly, the last thing that we kind of talked about was just this idea of being intentional to pray for our students and looking for ways to help our students begin to go for the gospel. One of the worst things that we can do as the church is just assume that the extent of church is showing up. So many students, when you ask them, like, hey, how'd you come to faith? And their response is like, well, I kind of grew up in the church, meaning I grew up going to church. And today, I still feel like that's what faith is. I go to church. And the reality is God has not called us to simply show up to a place or show up to a building and sit in seats on a Sunday or a Wednesday. He's called us to then take an idea, an information, a person, and go and personally worship them in our home, as well as share them with the rest of the world. And the person that we worship is Jesus. And so I just want to continue to encourage you to pray about what are some ways that you can help your students, whether you have students on Sunday morning, Wednesday night, overlap. How can you help them begin to go for the gospel? Whether that looks like inviting people to come, whether that looks like joining a Christian club, whether that is talking to their neighbor, whatever that may be, we want to see our students go for the gospel. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Continue just be praying. I'm fighting a little bit of a cold, and I know kind of going around, we had a lot of leaders that were out on Sunday just due to sickness and stuff that's going on. So just continue to be praying for our leadership team, be praying for our students, just be praying that God would continue to build his kingdom and that we would continue to get to be a part of it. Love you guys, and I'll see you.